7 a.m. waking up in the morning.
Let's do this intro and then go.
Like, also disclaimer, don't take
anything we say.
don't take medical advice from us. If you do want to make changes, talk to your healthcare team. Quote you live by.
One that my psychologist told me. I don't know if it's a quote, but I like it. Just fucking do it.
Something like that.
I like it one.
One that my mum always tells me, and like I live by, is like, don't let anyone dull your sparkle. If I'm having a bad day, she like texts it at me, and like keeps texting me throughout the day with Sparkle Girl, and I'm like,
aww,
it's a good day. But another one is also one my mum said, like, I get a lot of mine from my mother, but she also says, if you go through life without making a few enemies, you're doing life wrong. If everyone likes you, you've done something wrong in life, because then they're just pandering to you. What is an opinion you hold that you find is uncommon?
a lot of things. My brain automatically goes to things like controversial things. That
Pineapple on pizza.
Oh my god, no.
No! Look, this is my opinion that I hold as uncommon.
Your opinion is valid but wrong. What's a diabetes opinion?
The pumps aren't pumps are alright. Like, people are like, oh my god, pumps are amazing, but like they are good, but for me, I don't think. I have to keep saying for me, because like then someone jumps on down my throat and be like, no, you weren't in control then.
I mean, I've never had a pump, so I can't say anything.
But I'm just
not
like,
that I would argue with your own experience, like how you
Yeah.
experience something isn't going to be the same as something else.
but also I like to try not to dissuade other people when they say they want to go on a pump, because I'm like, because I fought for the choice to choose to go on the pump, and then the choice to choose to go off it.
Yeah.
And like I had my experience with it, and just at that time didn't work out.
I think because I've never had one, I want to like at least try it and then be like, okay, this does help me or it doesn't. Because people have said that like it would be better for me, like because I work night shift and stuff. But I don't know until I try it. So it's like I might as well try it if I can, but I have to wait a year.
Do you believe star signs can shape a person's personality?
Right. Well, I'm in the middle of eating, so it was a bad time to like go up a little bit.
I should probably drink this other juice box. I just remembered I'm still low. I forgot I was diabetic for a second.
Okay, so I like astrology and star signs and stuff. I don't know if like everything about like specific star signs describes, like if you told me, oh actually I'm gonna, I don't know if I know your birthday. I probably do, but I can't think of it.
Are you trying to tell me what star sign you think I am?
Yeah. Right, hold on, let me.
What energy do I give off?
Are you a fire sign?
Why
I'm
do I
4.9.
Hey!
See, I feel like you're sort of similar to me. You're either, I want to say like a Virgo or Aquarius.
No. Fun guessing you.
Cancer?
No.
I'm trying to think of all the signs. Right, there's fire sign, there's water sign, there's air sign, and there's earth. Are you an air sign? What are you then?
Capricorn.
Oh my god! I tend to hate Capricorns. No, I'm joking. My mum's a Capricorn, that sounds so mean. I actually turned around to my mum and I was like, I usually hate Capricorns. Do you know the only reason I tend to...
Tells me when we're 3 hours into
I know. The only reason I decided I didn't like Capricorns is because I have too many exes that were Capricorns. I know 3 people that were Capricorns and like 2 of them were assholes.
Did you know that Pisces are more likely to be serial killers?
Oh, my friend Niall's a Pisces.
And
my brother and my dad.
They're going to be serial killers.
Do you know what star? Did I tell you what star sign I am?
No, but I feel like I'm trying to guess which one you threw out.
Aquarius.
Hey!
I'm a humanitarian. Do you know your rising or your moon?
I am an Aries rising with a Pisces moon.
I knew there was something fiery in you. No, there's just something like you're very like chatty, bubbly, and like
annoying.
like. I sure know I will do. That's just described. Forget all those words I said. You're annoying. You're. No, but I actually like fire signs. I think like there's something about fire signs. Like there was just something about.
That's why she likes me. She doesn't like my Capricorn side. She likes my I hate the fact
that you're a Capricorn, but I like the fact that you're a Aries. I'm a Sagittarius rising and Cancer moon, which means I'm very emotional.
Yep.
I care too much about people.
Yep.
Which is a good thing, but I'm very empathetic, which means I think that I can feel people's emotions, and then I think that people.
You take them on.
Yeah, and then I also think if someone's annoyed, it's because of me, which is something I talk about with my psychologist a lot.
But like for the questions, like I think in some ways, but also I don't know how much of it is like people read traits belonging to star signs and then apply them to themselves and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
I wouldn't say everything like about an Aquarius or a Capricorn would describe us, but I think like knowing more in depth about like your rising, like your birth chart, like mine's very, very accurate when I read my birth chart.
Mm-hmm.
And then
like
when
I wouldn't say I do something because I'm a Capricorn. I'm like, oh okay, that makes sense. That's a similar trait or something, but I think I'm not like this because I'm a Capricorn.
Because I'm very into spirituality lately. Like I'm not like I don't know a huge amount, but like knowing my birth chart and like your life path and stuff, like it definitely fits what I want, and like does help sort of like motivate me to be like, right, that's what I want to do, and like that's my life path, and then like sort of guide me.
Have you done like tarot card readings?
Oh, I have tarot cards.
I did one that was so fucking creepy. But like there's so many of them and I was like, this makes sense, but I don't know how much of it was my brain being like, was finding ways to apply it to my life instead of it actually making sense.
If you watch tarot readings on YouTube, sometimes I find instead of like, if you read tarot reading for yourself, sometimes your ego takes over and like reads what you wanted to read. Whereas if someone else is reading, you kind of like, whatever pops into your head first is usually what it means, like they tell you. But like I always feel like if something good's happening, like I did a tarot reading yesterday for August and it's apparently supposed to be like really good things, then there's always that part of me that's like doubting myself, but then that's what, like in terms of law of attraction, if you think negatively, you're going to attract negatively. So I like to
think you make your own luck in the world. And like, if you think that things aren't going to happen, then it's not going to happen because you don't think you're going to achieve it.
Because they say in tarot readings, it's like if you don't like way something sounds, you can change it. Like if you don't like how that sounds, you change it. Your reality, like you have the power to change it. It's just like
instead of doing the what ifs, like what if this doesn't work, change it to what if this does work. One song to sum up 2020 so far.
I'm trying to think of a song. Like I want to set like a song that just has the word shit in it. Sugar Honey Iced Tea. Shit is I'm pretty sure that's a Bring Me Horizon song.
Or there's another song. It's like from Spring Awakening. It's called Totally Fucked.
Is that another musical theatre thing? I mean, I know a bit of musical theatre, but not that much.
Solely in musical theatre.
Or to put a positive spin on 2020, McFly are coming out with a new song on Thursday.
We're not sponsored by McFly.
But I do have a tattoo by McFly, so in a way I am sponsored by McFly. But basically, McFly have a new song coming out, and if I like it, that'll be my 2020 song because it'll make a positive spin on 2020. Anyway, you can continue to
I love how I went for negative titles.
I mean, I did as well, but I was like, I'm gonna put a positive spin on it.
Do you think social media is ultimately more positive or negative? We're getting into the real thought thinking ones.
See, I've been thinking about this a lot lately because Instagram is definitely, I use Instagram, I like Instagram, but it's definitely very negative. But Twitter, although I don't want to believe everything I read, it has taught me a lot. Like I've learned about racism, white privilege. Like I learned the other day that about dream catchers, like it's like culture appropriation or something. I have dream catchers. I didn't even think.
It makes me feel bad because there's so many dream catchers.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the fact, oh yeah, that's something from someone's culture and we've just stolen it. I'm learning so much from the internet, but at the same time, sometimes that can be bad. And like you can read into things, or like I know from like going on Tumblr, that taught me a lot about negative mental health things and showed me things like self-harm. like things like that. So there's positive and negatives. I don't know.
I think
It
it's a
depends.
lot. I think it's about like what you create on your feeds. Like
I've definitely unfollowed people that I'm like, this is causing too much negativity in my head. Like I'm gonna like unfollow them.
yeah, like on like Instagram, I like follow a lot of like body positivity and like people who like are speaking like politically and like about like political movements and like humanitarian issues and stuff. And like my friends and stuff, so my feed's pretty positive, and if I see something that can be seen as hate speech or something, I report it and then block that account. But I think a lot of it is kind of what you create, but also like what you take as a spin on it. Like you could see someone's comment as kind of negative towards you, or you could be like,
Yeah.
But I find like a lot with like what I'm doing with I'm trying to make my own feed more positive,
Yeah.
because like I have a space where I can talk about like diabetes, so I will. But the amount of people who've messaged me about things I put up on my story, and they're like, this helped me so much.
Yeah.
Like, and then we've had conversations, or I've put up something like positivity wise, and like they're like, I've always felt that, and I didn't know how to put it into words. And I think you kind of put the change out into the world that you want to see.
Yeah.
And like with like Twitter and all, like I get that it's a lot less able to be filtered.
I used to
But
use Twitter a
different.
lot to like I got in trouble a lot with people because I would like slabber about people or put out like things about how I'm feeling. It's like a diary almost. Whereas now I'm like, do I need to post that? Should I be posting that? What am I gaining from posting that? But like now I'm sort of using social media like YouTube and like Instagram. I'm trying to be like more about raising awareness and talking about mental health and diabetes and like sharing information about that, because I've definitely got people saying like, oh, that's like taught me a lot.
Sorry, it's not good.
Caramel.
I think like one of my opinions like could be back to like what like opinion unpopular opinion that you hold and all, but I've always been a true believer of don't air your dirty laundry out in public. Like the amount of people who like I've seen like put up like kind of like attention seeking status of at the hospital.
Oh, I
And
know.
like what's up, and they're like DM me, and I'm like, oh no, if you want attention, tell me what you're there for.
I know people that.
I'm
do
not
that.
gonna DM you to ask. I want to know now.
There's a positive of social media and a negative. It depends what you use it for, and also what you allow in. Like what you read, you don't have to like allow it to stay in your brain.
I think inherently social media is like depends on what you take from it. Because like I do get like there's a lot of like cyberbullying and stuff on there, but like I used to have my personal account. It used to be like a public one, but then like I got like unsolicited messages and like random dick pics, and I was like, no thanks, and like random creepy messages, so I like privated everything. So I think like it is a lot of like what you let in. Like you can moderate your comments, you can like ban certain words and create your feed to work for you. Like you don't have to justify why you're doing something to your social media. Like you can unfollow someone, and if they message you, or why did you do this, you're like, I don't need to dignify you with an answer. Like and something I've learned recently, like because I recently like reconnected with someone, like with an old friend and all. Like I used to think, oh, what if other people don't like me because they don't like this person, or like they have an opinion from this person. And I'm really like, I've realised that I am like an adult with my own, like I'm my own person, and that I shouldn't worry so much about what people are thinking about me making a decision, and making this decision based on what I want.
Yeah, that's something I've learned like this year, is like doing what I want and not what other people want me to do or what I think other people want me to do.
Like when I'm called obsessive about my condition, I'm like, I get that, but I'm not. Like I have other interests, and you're just getting this feed of my condition because it's what I'm really passionate about, and like I have it, why not turn it positive? But like I am a different person outside of my condition. It's just it's a part of me. Yeah,
because I've definitely spent so many years not paying attention to my diabetes, and now I'm like actually paying attention to it. So it does seem like I'm being obsessive, but it's just like, I mean, I'm actually giving a crap about my health.
It's because I'm learning so much about my condition, because I am part of this project, so it's all coming in like a shorter period of time as well.
Yeah.
So
I have like I've only been with our live, our voices since February, March.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been like a year.
Yeah, like I've been part of it like since
You told me about
last year. Yeah, I was like, hey Hannah, do you want to
it. And I was like, oh, what does she want? What does she want?
And I feel like we've both gotten closer because we're both staying project, because before that I was just someone who'd been in your student film and met up with you like once or something while you were up at Queen's, and I kept meaning to meet up with you more, and then my uni got in the way. But like, it brings you definitely closer because we're part of something and we can relate to the diabetes and yada yada. Do you think there's a link between disease and climate change? Was COVID a result of the climate crisis?
I think
Trump
caused corona.
I think I'm not educated enough
I
on
don't think I am.
either the climate crisis or...
All I want to say is that coronavirus is real, climate change is real, and we need to take them more seriously.
Wear a damn mask. Like, I'm not as clued in, so like, I don't want to like speak before I have facts. I'm someone who likes to like gather my facts before I form a full opinion, because I don't want to like have a reactionary opinion.
Yeah.
So, I think in some diseases can be linked to climate.
Yeah.
Like, certainly in certain countries, like because of the climate and stuff, different diseases can
things.
thrive. But I don't know if coronavirus...
Sorry, there's a pug outside.
I don't think coronavirus in itself is linked.
No.
But it could be. I don't know enough. But I think what really, like, it's coronavirus is really showing how racist countries are.
Like, I don't know, like people are saying, oh, that was coronavirus was manufactured, or that this caused coronavirus, or that Chinese people ate this animal and it caused it. I'm like, I don't know what actually happened. Does anyone really know what actually happened? People create conspiracy theories about what could have happened. Conspiracy theories are cool, like sometimes, but sometimes they can be dangerous, and sometimes they can spread wrong information.
Yeah,
so I feel like
it's the truth.
Like it's caused so much damage that we shouldn't be like being racist and hateful towards each other, and like obviously we joke about it, but like not
it's still serious.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know.
I think like, have you ever watched the movie Contagion?
No, is that one?
If you watch it, it's eerily similar to what's
yeah,
going
I've
on.
heard about
But
it.
the funny thing is it made America to be this fast response, competent country to deal with this lockdown that like got it sorted within like a month. But like it's so eerily similar. But what is similar about it is that it starts off from a bat.
Yeah, is that why people got that from? Because I see people saying.
But I think regardless of like if it was manufactured or what, if it was an accident that spread or something, the way society reacts is the bigger problem, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's turned into like this whole racist idea.
Yeah.
Shows people don't care about each other, and even if about how countries deal with it, like the UK had so many weeks warning.
Yeah.
And we didn't lock down when we should have, and that's why we're so long.
I was sitting going, why have we not locked down already? And now masks are compulsory. Like in Northern Ireland,
but it should have been compulsory from the start. If you could have one skill perfected, what would it be?
You went
confidence. But the thing is, like my justification is like I know I sometimes like I have skills to carry out some things, but what holds me back is my confidence level. Yeah. Like I act confident, but like I'm generally faking it. But I'd love to like have the confidence in myself to be able to like pull off what I have.
I think that's a good answer. My thoughts were, I've always wanted to be able, like I can play the piano, but like I watched YouTube videos and like learn the songs instead of the actual basics of a piano. And like I've always wanted to play guitar, and I also love like art, and I can do art, but like I think maybe the confidence and what's the other word, like motivation would probably be the things, because the only thing that's stopping me is myself. Like I have the ability to learn those things, it's just the effort and like getting myself motivated and spending the time and being like I can do this and then doing it. I think that instead of like actually doing art, like I know I can do art, I know I can play the piano, but I don't do it.
Like if we want a non-deep dancer, I'd like have my skill of creativity to be a lot better, because like I'd love to like learn how to sew my own clothing and stuff.
I mean, I tried
That's
that.
That's one thing I keep trying. I made half of my like Halloween outfit this year. Like I made like a mesh overlay for it so I could dress up as Lydia from Beetlejuice. But like I'd love to be able to play an instrument. Creativity, like branches out a lot of things. So I'd love to like have creativity as a
I would
skill.
love to be able to do maths because it would make carb counting a
Make
lot
diabetes
easier. I would love to perfect the skill of diabetes. Then I'd be really good.
Stuart
God.
Little is the greatest villain this world has ever known. Discuss. I haven't watched Stuart Little in a while, but I still think Snowflake's a bitch.
Cats get a
Snowflake.
bad rep in films, but like they do because they're always like the evil villains. Why is it always cats?
Stuart Little does seem like a little rich boy. I actually have
My brother had the PlayStation game off of the
Ooh,
show.
I remember that because I asked people who said this question why. The excuses are bad vibes from him. He seems like he would make fun of me for having AirPod knockoffs. Cursed vibes. He was adopted into the height of white privilege.
I didn't expect these sort of answers.
They feel as if he'd be a bit of a Jeff Bezos bootlicker. He's definitely a Tory.
A Tory. Well, there you are. Stuart Little's a Tory. The title of your video.
So yeah, maybe he is the biggest villain, like if he's a Tory. Which mythological creature would you be and why?
Unicorn.
I'd like to be a siren.
Oh, I mean, aren't you already? You're already annoying.
No, I would like to lure men to their deaths.
You're already a Capricorn. You get a siren.
For being a siren insinuates I can sing. So like, you upgrades, you're able to sing.
And you drown people.
And you can lure
I see serial killer energy.
And you can lure men to their deaths. What's not to love?
Does a mermaid count then as a myth?
Yeah. If it's in a
I
myth.
love a mermaid then.
Favorite book you've read this year?
The back of a cereal box.
For all those carbs. I think my favorite book I've read this year is called Am I Normal Yet? And it's about this girl, I think she's called
I've heard of that.
Evie. And she's like come out of rehab for like OCD. And she's trying to like settle back into her life that she left. But she like goes to a new school and meets these new people. But she tries to hide the fact that she had OCD and like she slowly starts falling back into like relapse behaviours because of certain people she's hanging out with. But she refuses to get help because she wants to be seen as normal.
I didn't know. I've heard of that book, but I don't know what it's about. The only book I've read this year, and I haven't even finished it, is about borderline personality disorder because I have borderline personality disorder.
If you could impose one rule in all of humanity, what would it be?
Don't be a dick.
Treat people with kindness.
Yeah, simple.
Like,
And let diabetics eat sugar.
either that or everyone must like dab when they walk into a shop, because that would be fun.
Next question. Next question.
Favorite midnight snack?
Did you say cheese? Because that's my favorite. I was going to say Dunkers. Dunkers is my favorite.
Either that
Snack.
or I like what's it? Or
I love-
popcorn. I like snacks.
I like sweet and salted popcorn. I like
The purple bag, and you're like I don't like sweet popcorn on its own, but I like
yeah,
sweet
because
salted.
too much of like
Plus, like
salted
popcorn is like
it's like too.
easier in your blood sugar. Weirdest diabetes assumption you've heard from people?
When I say I'm diabetic, they say, but you're not fat. Or I've had someone say, oh, do you not put on weight when you take insulin? Which then automatically made me want to not take insulin.
I think the weirdest something is that other people think they know more about my condition than I do.
I love my dad, but like, I try not to get frustrated at like people like with my mum and dad. But I hate when people tell me what to do with my diabetes. Like, why is your blood sugar high? Why is your blood sugar low? Oh, you should take this amount of like hypo treatment, and I'm like, no. Let me deal with my diabetes. If there is a severe problem with how I'm handling my diabetes, then when I go to the diabetic team and like they tell me what I'm doing wrong, or I discuss it with them, but like I know they're trying to help, but it's like, it's just frustrating when people that don't have diabetes tell me how to live my life as a diabetic.
I think the most like dangerous assumption that someone made was like,
Yeah.
I once was like at this first aid camp. At the camp, all of us are first aiders, and the thing is, like, they took all of our medications and like locked them up in like a first aid room, but they wouldn't let me keep my blood monitor or like my insulin pens on me at all. And I was like, I at least need the monitor.
Yeah.
So I had to like phone home to my mum. Like, we got an hour allocated like phone time a day, and I like spent my entire hour calling my mum, being like, Mum, they've taken my like medical device off me. I need at least the monitor. I can leave the needles, that's fine, but I need my monitor to know what my blood sugars are. So like after like fighting with them, I got my monitor back. But then there was another diabetic in that camp, but her ratios were different than mine. So she was taking less insulin than I was. So they assumed I was doing my diabetes wrong. So they changed my doses to fit hers. Because they're like, such and such is taking less, like about half your dose. We're going to give you the same dose, because like they did a thing where you'd have to dial up the insulin. They checked it with another person, then watched you inject it. So I was adhering to her doses, which I shouldn't have. Yeah. But when I kicked, like, they wouldn't let me kick up a fuss about it. And I like spent that entire weekend high and miserable, because
so high and miserable.
and not in the fun way. But because they assumed that everyone's diabetes is the same.
I was going to say, like, people just assume that all diabetes is the same, and they don't realise there's different types, and it's also different for different people.
And different things impact, like, say, periods impact people
because
differently.
I definitely know, like, people were saying, I didn't even think about my period, like having an impact on my bloods, but, like, I recently just stopped mine, and I think mine's been easier to control whenever I have my period, whereas people have said, like, their blood sugar's higher.
Or,
everyone's different.
The thing I find is, like, depending on which tube which ovary your eggs released from, changes how your diabetes reacts. Like, some months my blood sugars will spike, some months mine will drop, and some months it won't do anything. It depends on which tube, and like, but you can't predict that.
You don't even think of that. Like, no one would go, oh yes, the tubes that I ovaries.
There's so much you have to think about. Like, it's even what I think being a female diabetic is even worse, because you have to deal with the period on top of diabetes, and you're like, you want a comforting chocolate, but you have to carve going for your comforting chocolate. What is the best thing to do when someone is in a hypo state? Give them sugar.
Give them, throw Lucas at them, and then it fizzes over them. That's like an opposite advice. Give them sugar, but don't throw it at them.
Don't eat their hypo treatment.
Oh yeah.
Living in student accommodation was fun. I had to put a padlock on my thing, because people would eat my hypo treats, and then I moved them to my room because someone broke into my lock, and I was like, bitch, I need those. I can't run out of it. Like, there's one time I ran out of hypo treatment because someone ate mine. And I was like, this is the day I die. I was sitting in my room, it was like 3 a.m, and I was like low and shaky, and my door was locked, and I was like, but yeah, give them sugar. Make sure they check in 20 minutes. And
just be there to support them as well.
Keep them awake. Don't let them sleep. Sleeping's a no-go when you're hypo.
Oh, they're right.
Are there any stigmas around diabetes that you faced while at university? Yes. One of my uni lecturers once told me the real world wouldn't be as sympathetic to my condition as he was, and he was a discriminatory dickbag who I reported to disability services.
Whoa, okay.
I had to like miss class one day because my blood sugar was like so low, I was like paralysed in my bed and could not move. I was meant to be like a long hour, like a couple of hour rehearsal day, and like I missed out one rehearsal because like my blood sugar was so low I couldn't move. I had informed him that I wouldn't be able to make that class, but I was so shaky for the rest of the day I wouldn't have been good in class anyway. Yeah. And I took the day, had like treated my blood sugars and all. The next day I found out he'd removed one of my parts, then like tried to cut down my other one, and I was like, this is not my fault. Like, it's a medical condition. And then we had an interview type thing that was like part of our assessment, and he spent 6 of those minutes telling me all about my health and how like the real world wouldn't be accepted.
I've not really had in terms of diabetes, but now like reflecting back after what you just said, I've definitely had like people with mental health, because like I struggled a lot with, you know, like doing presentations or stuff. Like I would really struggle. Like my high school, like I love that when you're in like high school they say to you, oh, university's going to be difficult and they're not going to give you sympathy and blah blah blah. So mine was a complete opposite experience.
And then the lecturer's like, lol, I'm not coming to class today
Yeah.
because I'm emotional.
Like, my lecturers were the best, whereas in high school, I was shouted at for, like, I remember one of my teachers asked me to read out my answer. I didn't even finish writing down the answer I gave, and I was like, I don't really want to read it out. Literally, I was like, sorry, I don't really want to read it out, I haven't really finished it, and he shouted at me, and I ran out of the classroom crying.
Like, the biggest stigma I got was, like, that I was lazy, or that I, like,
I hate when people say
or
I'm
I
lazy.
didn't care about uni because I like missed days or something, or how like I was lucky because I got extensions on things because I was diabetic or because I had autism. They're like, she's lucky, and I'm like, this is what I need to like function at the barest minimum that the rest of you have. But like, some of them was, oh, I'll be late to class because I'm having a low blood sugar, but I will be there and people will see me walking late. But the same lecturer that was like a like discriminatory dickbag, he would call me out when I come into the class late. He'd be like, why are you late? And I'm none of your business.
I don't know, like, I don't expect anyone to know about my diabetes, but at the same time, I thought my work knew that I was diabetic and that they would have, like, been aware of, you know, or asked me what do they need to know, but nobody did. So now I feel like it's my fault when I know that it's not their fault either. But at the same time, when people are like, when I'm trying to explain that I can't pack out, or like why like my blood sugar would affect me from packing out, you think I'm making excuses. People call me lazy.
Or like things that like I'd be like on nights out and stuff, or like certain events, society events or something, I'd like leave them because they'd go somewhere else after like the initial event, and I'd generally be like, no, my blood sugar's low, or I need to like do a set change or something, or like I'm not feeling up to it because my blood sugar's been all over the place, and people are all like, you keep using your diabetes as an excuse.
Yeah, I don't
the amount of
wanna-
people who told me I was using my condition as an excuse to get out of things, and I'm like, I'm not. But then I forced myself to go out so that they wouldn't have that opinion, and that just made me feel worse.
It stresses me out when people don't understand, but at the same time, I don't expect people to know everything about diabetes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's...
Like, I don't even know everything about diabetes.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I don't know.
my stigma is like, people expect you to be perfect with your like,
I was like 13 or something.
Yeah,
How you
like,
say?
like, to put it, like, when you put it into perspective, I was like a 10-year-old, like, suddenly given this condition that I didn't ask for, that I didn't know how to control, that was going to be lifelong, that I had to make decisions for it every day, 24/7. I never got a break of it, and I thought immediately that I had to be perfect at it and get like a grip on it. When you think about it, like in retrospect, like you're a young child, like saddled with this condition that's changed your life, and you're like, oh god, this is my life now.
Yeah.
And you just have to get on with it. Like, you can't complain about it because it's your life. Like, you can, but like people get annoyed when you complain about your condition for some reason. Are you scared about having kids in case they're diabetic?
If my child was diabetic, like, I'm not going to be scared of them being diabetic. I know what it's like to be diabetic. It's more like I know how I felt when I was diabetic, but maybe that's because I didn't feel like I had support or anyone that understood. Whereas if I was diabetic and my child was diabetic, we could relate on it, and I would be like more understanding of like they're not lazy, they're just having maybe difficulties with their blood sugar or mental health, or and that they need support.
But like, thing on the, I think I'm not scared to have kids. I think more like healthcare teams have scared me.
Yeah.
Into not having kids because they keep talking about the consequences and all, but they haven't done anything to like assuage those fears. They're like the same way as like when you're in clinics, they talk about the complications of diabetes and all, but they don't talk about the positives and stuff. Where we have to find it ourselves.
During our wellbeing program thing, there was I forgot. Is it Katie that did the talk about the eyes?
Don't know. Didn't attend that one.
And she was saying about she was like giving us like really good informational stuff and talked about she went to I think was it Vietnam or something, and like talked about like diabetes over there and like the difference like of care over there compared to here, and how lucky we are that we have the NHS. But she was saying about how like she wants to like I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was like how people tend to scare diabetics into like, oh, if you do this you'll get this, or if you don't do that you'll get this, and like scare people, like use scare tactics instead of actually informing and being like, go to eye screenings like when you need to, and like you'll get your eyes screened and like we'll check for any problems, and then like if it's sorted, like it doesn't have to be this big scare test.
But the scare tactics just make us not want to attend.
It's like I don't want to go and to clinic this and found out that there was something wrong with me, or finding out that when I got my last eye screening I had a problem with the back of my eyes. They didn't say it was anything serious, like it was just like watch my blood sugar sort of thing. But like no one sat and talked to me with it. They just sat there and said, well, you've got some issues, but don't worry about it. Like,
I think like using scare tactics and telling us all about like what could happen.
Yeah.
Sends us into burnout faster.
Yeah.
Because you think about the worst case scenario at all times.
Yeah.
That you're going to get burnt out if you're like, oh, if I don't take care of my my diabetes, I could go blind, I could like get gangrene and like lose my toes, I could get neuropathy, I could do all this. And when you think about that all the time, like we're twice as likely to get depression. But I also have autism. And autism is also twice as likely to be depressed. So I'm 50% more likely to be depressed.
Oh my god. I have diagnosed depression, so I'm 100% likely to be depressed.
I haven't seen anyone because I don't want them to give me a label.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna rapid fire these last questions because we've moved to 3 different cameras. That's how long we've been filming. So do you want to go with that one?
Dawn asked.
I love how everyone else we haven't called out. We're calling out
Dawn has
Dawn.
the best question because this is just my favourite question.
Dawn deserves to be called out in a good way.
What shampoo do people with type 1 diabetes use?
Cinnamon infused. Personally, I go into Lush and look for anything with cinnamon in it.
Sugar-free, dandruff-free, cinnamon-infused shampoo.
Hopefully without sweeteners and preservatives.
I mean, that's kind of hard these days
Yeah.
to get shampoo.
Darn. How do we cope with the bad days?
Watch YouTube and cry. No.
I take an hour or two where like if I want to cry, I just cry, and just
yeah, it's
like
okay
deal
to
with
cry
it.
and have bad days
It's-
and take a break.
Yeah, it's important that you just don't stay in that bad day.
I find like having a routine helps with like just my life in general and diabetes, and also just helps whether the day's good or bad. It just makes me more productive and not focus on like any bad moments or bad blood sugar.
Because like
It's just
parents and all great, but sometimes you need like a community that
Yeah.
understands you, like that'll get it in a way that they don't get it.
yeah.
And like apologies if it makes them feel like kind of ostracized from like how you are and like excluded, but like sometimes you need a community that understands how you're
Yeah.
feeling, because we do have certainly like niche problems. If you had an autobiography, what would you call it?
Oh.
Mine would be smiling on the outside, screaming on the inside.
Mine would probably be, hi, nice to meet you, I'm anxious. There's something stupid. Hi, nice to meet you, I have crippling depression.
It's not you, it's the anxiety.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
And finally, Ulster or Queens? Because
Ulster.
Hannah's gone to both.
Ulster.
I'd say like for social life Queens, but like not for drama. I think like in terms like, because like my friends also like did her degree down. It was funny enough we both applied to Queens. I think like from what she tells me of her course, I think in terms of course I think Ulster would be better, but like in terms of like social life I like Queens better.
I think the fact that Queen's is in Belfast, I would have preferred that, but I did like Derry.
I like
really
just
loved
because
it.
like musical theatre society and all, because I was like in the musical theatre, I enjoyed the societies and everything, got
Yeah.
more out of the societies and like my placement opportunities and stuff than I did out of my degree.